What if I told you that one of the most powerful countries in the world almost never existed? Before it became the United States of America, this land was filled with ancient civilizations, bold explorers, deadly conflicts, and a revolution that shocked the entire world. How did a group of small colonies rise up against one of the greatest empires on Earth and actually win? What really happened before independence? And what secrets do most people never hear about? Today, you're about to discover the full story from the very beginning. Long before the arrival of Europeans, the land now known as the United States of America was already rich with life, culture, and advanced civilizations. Millions of indigenous people lived across vast forests, plains, deserts, and river valleys, each group with its own language, traditions, and way of life. In the eastern woodlands, powerful alliances like the Iroquois Confederacy created sophisticated systems of government. Their structure of leadership and unity would later inspire elements of modern democracy. Further south and along major rivers, the Mississippian culture built large cities with massive earth mounds. One of their greatest urban centers was Cahokia, which once had a population larger than many European cities of its time. In the southwest, ancestral Pueblo peoples constructed remarkable cliff dwellings, such as those at Mesa Verde National Park, showing advanced architectural skills and adaptation to harsh environments. Across the Great Plains, indigenous groups lived as skilled hunters, following vast herds of buffalo, while in the Pacific Northwest, communities thrived on fishing and built strong coastal cultures supported by abundant natural resources. These societies were deeply connected to nature. They developed farming techniques, growing crops like corn, beans, and squash, and established trade networks that stretched across the continent. Before 1492, America was not an empty land. It was a continent full of diverse, organized, and innovative civilizations that had been thriving for thousands of years. The story of European colonization in the land that would become the United States of America began in 1492, when the explorer Christopher Columbus reached the Americas. His voyage opened the door for European powers to explore, conquer, and settle vast new territories. Soon after, countries like Spain, France, and especially Britain began establishing colonies. While Spain focused on the south and west, and France explored inland along rivers, Britain built permanent settlements along the east coast. In 1607, the first successful English colony, Jamestown, was founded in Virginia. Life there was harsh. Disease, hunger, and conflict with Native Americans made survival difficult. But the colony endured. Years later, in 1620, a group of English settlers known as the Pilgrims arrived on the ship Mayflower and established Plymouth Colony. They came seeking religious freedom, a powerful motivation that would shape many future settlements. Over time, Britain established 13 colonies along the Atlantic coast. These colonies grew rapidly, each developing its own economy and identity. The New England colonies focused on trade, fishing, and shipbuilding. The Middle colonies thrived on farming and commerce. The Southern colonies relied on plantations and cash crops like tobacco. However, this growth came at a great cost. Indigenous populations were displaced from their lands. and millions of Africans were forcibly brought across the Atlantic in the brutal system known as the transatlantic slave trade. As the colonies became stronger, tensions with Britain began to rise. The British government imposed taxes and laws without giving the colonists a voice in Parliament. Policies like the Stamp Act and other taxes angered many settlers, who believed in the idea of no taxation without representation. By the 1770s, protests had grown into open resistance. Events like the Boston Tea Party showed that the colonies were ready to challenge British authority. Between 1492 and 1776, European colonization transformed America, creating thriving colonies, but also causing displacement, conflict, and injustice that would shape the nation's future. Right now, the land we call the United States of America is standing on the edge of something massive, a turning point that will change history forever. Tensions are rising, voices are growing louder, and soon, everything will explode into a conflict no one can ignore. But here's the real question. How did a group of colonies go from survival to rebellion, to building a powerful nation? Stay with me, because what happens next will shock you. Before we dive deeper, if you enjoy powerful history stories like this, like the video, subscribe for more, share with someone who loves history, comment, where are you watching from? And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss what comes next, because it only gets more intense from here. By the mid-1700s, tension between Britain and its colonies in the United States of America had reached a breaking point. The colonists were growing stronger and more united, but they were frustrated by British control, heavy taxes, and lack of representation in government. The conflict finally exploded into war in 1775, beginning the American Revolutionary War. The first battles at Lexington and Concord marked the start of a struggle that would change history. In 1776, the colonies made a bold and dangerous decision. They officially declared independence from Britain through the Declaration of Independence, a powerful document that argued all people have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Leading the colonial army was George Washington, whose leadership, determination, and resilience kept the army together during extremely difficult times. The colonists, though less experienced and poorly supplied, were driven by a strong desire for freedom. At first, victory seemed unlikely. The British army was powerful and well-trained. But the turning point came when the colonies gained support from France. With French military help, the tide of the war began to shift. In 1781, the final major battle took place at Yorktown, where British forces were surrounded and defeated. This victory forced Britain to negotiate peace. In 1783, the war officially ended with the Treaty of Paris, and Britain recognized the independence of the United States. The American Revolution transformed 13 colonies into a new independent nation, proving that people could challenge a powerful empire and fight for their freedom. After winning independence, the United States of America faced a new challenge: how to turn a group of former colonies into a strong, united country. At first, the young nation struggled under a weak system of government. To fix this, leaders gathered in 1787 and created the United States Constitution, which established a stable federal government with three branches: executive, legislative, and judicial. This system ensured a balance of power and became the foundation of American democracy. Soon after, George Washington became the nation's first president, setting important traditions for leadership and governance. Expansion and growth. As the country grew, it began expanding westward. In 1803, the government made a massive land deal known as the Louisiana Purchase, which doubled the size of the nation. Explorers like Meriwether Lewis and William Clark were sent to explore this new territory, mapping lands all the way to the Pacific Ocean. However, expansion came at a great cost. Native American tribes were forced off their lands, leading to tragic events like the Trail of Tears, where thousands suffered and died during relocation. Rising tensions over slavery. As new states were formed, a major question divided the nation. Should slavery be allowed or not? The northern states began to oppose slavery and industrialize. The southern states depended on slavery for their plantation economy. Compromises were made to keep peace, but the issue kept growing stronger and more dangerous. A nation on the brink. By the 1850s, the United States was deeply divided. Political arguments, economic differences, and moral debates pushed the country closer to conflict. The election of Abraham Lincoln, who opposed the spread of slavery, caused southern states to break away from the Union. Between 1783 and 1860, the United States grew rapidly in size and strength, but deep divisions, especially over slavery, set the stage for a major conflict that could no longer be avoided.
Forward, men! Charge!
By 1861, the United States of America was no longer united. Years of tension, especially over slavery, had pushed the nation to the edge. When Abraham Lincoln became president, several southern states chose to leave the Union and form their own government, known as the Confederate States of America. This led to the outbreak of the American Civil War, one of the deadliest wars in American history. North versus South. The Union, North, fought to keep the country together and later to end slavery. The Confederacy, South, fought to preserve their independence and maintain slavery. The North had more people, factories, and resources, while the South had experienced military leaders and strong local support. Major turning points. At first, the war seemed evenly matched, but key moments changed everything. The Battle of Gettysburg, 1863, stopped the South's advance into the North. The Union gained control of important rivers and supply routes. That same year, President Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring that enslaved people in Confederate states were free. This shifted the war's purpose. Now it was not just about unity, but also about ending slavery. The end of the war. By 1865, the Confederacy was weakening. Union forces, led by General Ulysses S. Grant, pushed the South to surrender. The war officially ended when Confederate General Robert E. Lee surrendered. Shortly after the victory, tragedy struck. President Lincoln was assassinated, leaving the nation to rebuild without him. The United States remained one nation. Slavery was abolished across the country. The South was left devastated and would take years to recover. The Civil War saved the Union and ended slavery, But it came at a massive human cost and left deep scars that would shape the nation for generations. As the smoke cleared from the American Civil War, the United States of America stood forever changed, no longer divided, but deeply scarred. A nation once built on hope had survived its greatest test, emerging stronger, yet carrying wounds that would take generations to heal. But this is not the end. A new chapter is about to begin, one of rapid growth, industrial power, and transformation that will push America onto the world stage. From ancient civilizations to revolution to civil war. What a journey! But the story is just getting started. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, drop a comment. What part shocked you the most? And most importantly, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss Episode 2, Industrial Growth and the Rise of a Superpower. We continue right where we stopped. Stay tuned.